If you're looking to land on a specific wizard subclass, but just aren't sure which one to pick, never fear, I'm here to play matchmaker. By the end of the video, you'll know the flavor, strengths, and standout features of each of the subclasses. And finally, I'll give my favorite tip for wizard character creation flavor that's a personal favorite at my table, and of course, a little free gift for you. Hi everyone, I'm Willow, and today we're gonna pick your magic major. So let's begin, but first, a disclaimer about venturing into the wizard class. I see a lot of frustration from newer players centered around how scary low-level wizardry can be. The D6 hit die is scary low, and hey, what do you mean I have to burn through my money to transcribe the spell Burning Hands into my book, and if the book is burned and I don't have the spell burned into my brain for the day and the spell Burning Hands is burned until I find it again, starting the whole process over? Well, if you go all the way back to the original Dungeons & Dragons, or more accurately titled Dungeons & Dragons: Rules for Fantastic Medieval War Games campaigns playable with paper and pencil and miniature figures by Gygax and Arneson, Men and Magic Volume 1 of 3 booklets, you will see that we had 3 class choices: Fighting Man, Magic Users, and Clerics. They landed on that class name pretty quick, so good for them. Anyways, the important thing to remember is that even way back then, the design philosophy behind casters was this, quote, "Top-level Magic users are perhaps the most powerful characters in the game, but it is a long, hard road to the top, and to begin with, they are weak, so survival is often the question, unless fighters protect the low-level magical types until they have worked up," unquote. In plain text, there's the point of early casters and wizards. They're powerful, but they're supposed to be pretty squishy starting out. That's why, especially at lower level combat, wizards feel like they're the baby geniuses, clutching their spellbooks like pacifiers and ready to die at any moment with like 3 hit points. But this is working as intended, because if you make it, you become a baby on steroids, swinging your spellbook around like Thor's hammer, destroying everything in sight, and probably still rocking around 3 hit points. So next time you as a wizard see the shadow of a colossus's foot about to end you and your entire bloodline, just close your eyes and remember that this is exactly what Gary wanted. And also remember, as you're getting squished, I guess, that casters enjoy a level of utility and damage variation martial classes often envy. So keeping this in mind, don't be shocked when you read about the early level features of these subclasses compared to, say, a druid. You're going to figure out pretty quickly that the strength in wizards lies in the fact that they are the capital C casters of the game. But like C if C was an A+, not C like, you know what I mean. We'll burn through these classes just about as fast as our spell slots, figuring out what defines these classes, is it the right class for you, and anything else particularly noteworthy or weird. Now, a bunch of these classes, I would say about half-ish, are still floating around Unearthed Arcana land, so just keep in mind that these guys are subject to change. I really hope they don't change that much, you never know, but I would say most of the Unearthed Arcana classes, in my opinion right now, are actually pretty solid to bring to any table. Just ask your DM, I guess. So let's begin. First up is the Conjurer. A common misconception with the brand new players picking subclasses off name alone is that Conjurers are mostly summoners, which makes sense, but Conjurers also have domain over transporting across distances. I'm personally in the camp that movement is king in D&D, and having that baked into your kit is really useful for squishy classes. The best defense is a good pair of running shoes, basically. And of course, you are still conjuring items, energies, and creatures from distant planes to do your bidding. Another feature that newer players might overlook is the level 10 feature, which I really hope they don't change, where you don't drop concentration on your conjuration spells if you take damage. Someone new might think, that's an awfully short-looking feature, where's my extra damage die or whatever. But this is not true. At all. This is a huge buff for combat, which lets you take a hit while allowing those pricier, higher level summons a fighting chance to do damage on the battlefield. Besides the Abjurer, which we're going to talk about in a minute, the movement Conjurers get, along with the cushion of things like buff summons and concentration in certain situations, can really gel with players that are nervous about the glass part of the glass cannon that is the wizard. Next, we have Necromancer. Do you like darkness? Do you like Halloween? I sure do. And I love Necromancer wizards despite them not being as overpowered of a pick as, say, the Divination wizard. The flavor of this subclass is completely baked like a decomposing zombie pie. It's all about using your very own undead army to win your battles for you, and everything is bone-flavored. Even your familiar, the skeleton or the zombie. The zombies still have bones inside. That still counts. You can squish your undead thralls like green gushers to top up your hit points when you hit higher levels, which I absolutely love. I avoided doing the classic Willower's creepy rating because in my mind, Necromancer would just win every creepy contest, and it would kind of be the shortest video ever. The big win of the Necromancer class is, much like the school it draws from, the mechanics serve the flavor every time. This means characters from a roleplay point of view are super consistent in and out of combat. Personally, I recommend this class to someone that's tried a wizard subclass before, only because on top of the crazy Swiss Army knife a wizard must be for the party, a necro can have a lot of little undeads to look out for, so you have to be a little bit of a logistics freak to get this class to actually work for you. You gotta be weird! No cool kids. No cool kids in D&D. Enchanter! Okay, so when I said necromancers were creepy, I know at least one of you scrolled down to the comments to tell me that enchanters also sit in this category, and you'd be right. The power to alter memories, charm, and manipulate, this all falls into the realm of the enchanter. If you are someone that loves complicated RP at the table, I suggest this subclass. After all, the new level 3 feature makes you a very strong communicator for your party that gives you a healthy bonus to your choice of deception, intimidation, inception? Yeah, sure, Inception. Leonardo DiCaprio's absolutely an enchanter, by the way. Inception was just a journey of a bunch of enchanter wizards gonna go trying to cast Modify Memory in the most roundabout way possible. I cast Dispel Oscar. I also suggest being a very strong communicator above table with this subclass, as a lot of enchantment spells can lead to a bit more morally gray choices. I'll admit my bias pretty freely here. I've never been super excited about enchanters from a flavor perspective. I love an enchantment wizard villain, don't get me wrong, I feel they really shine with the evil advisor archetype, for instance. It also feels like this subclass doesn't get a lot of play, but that could just be from my personal experience. I don't have the hard numbers here. So I'd love to hear about anyone in the comments who have played enchanter wizards and what their characters were like. What cool twist did you give your character that made them truly special? I think in the right campaign, enchanters really can be useful. After all, they aren't just Jimmy Neutron Braze-sized manipulators. The School of Enchantment is a hub of famous debuffs like Hold Monster that can really turn the tide in combat, and having mastery over that school can make you a truly formidable foe. Or Leonardo DiCaprio, whichever one you want to be. That's the two choices. Transmuter! If you've tried a druid, I think this would actually be a fun subclass for you to try, as this is another shape-shifting subclass, and Transmuter wizards to me are also very thinking outside of the box type players. If you like coming up with more wacky solutions to a problem, this is the class for you. A really neat flavor feature here is that you get a Transmuter stone, not only as a spellcasting focus, but as an item that grants you proficiency in Constitution saving throws, among other things. This is a nod to the origin of the class itself, the very real, mythical, can I even say that? The true legend, Philosopher's Stone from alchemy, the object that could turn lead into gold. I really enjoy how this class uses the spellcasting focus as one of the main characters of flavor storytelling of the class, but also something that improves as you level up. And that's foreshadowing. That's a big foreshadowing, just scrolling across the screen right there. And if the Unearthed Arcana stays the same, we're in for a treat, because even the level 3 feature is just so exciting, giving you the player a plethora of choice and, if I'm actually reading this correctly, actually allows you to let somebody else gain some of those benefits temporarily. And of course, as a master of shaping and changing, you gain features that support this class fantasy at higher levels. I could go on and on about the new changes to this subclass, but I guess I can really sum it up with, I'm very excited about these changes, and I really, really hope they keep it the same. I've seen very few transmutation wizards in my games, and I think that will change with these new adjustments. So if you've overlooked them before, give them a chance. Put them back on the field, coach. They might change your mind. Get it? It might change because they're transmutation wizards. That's their trick. Abjuration. This is going to be so hard for me to talk about because Abjurer is a really hard word to say. Abjuration. If you usually play a protector, a tank, or a frontline guy, but you want to try a wizard, I recommend this class. Even though you're now in the back lines and no longer hold a physical shield in front of your party, you can still play the role of protector. In my previous video where I talk about different magic schools, I call Abjuration the school of no thank you, and it still holds up for this subclass. To quote directly from the book, quote, ending harmful effects, banishing evil influences, and protecting the weak, unquote. I think that's a pretty strong class fantasy that also tells you exactly how you'll be playing the field. To me, a great Abjurer. The great Abjurer. To me, a great Abjurer is someone who also enjoys a little bit of tactics, that as a treat. You have to be hyper aware of the moving pieces on the field and, kind of like a classic tank, figure out the ways you can mitigate that damage. And one way to do that is use your Arcane Ward, a magical shield that can absorb damage to protect yourself and, at higher levels, other members of your party. What makes this feature special is every time you cast an Abjuration spell, your ward regains hit points. This gives you a bit more cushion between you and the beasties trying to kill you and your party. Though, please, While you get your training wheels in this class, just understand Arcane Ward is a spell that you should focus on yourself first. When you get a handle on how much damage it can absorb and how quickly you can re-up it, then you can dive into the wonderful world of shielding your fellow backliners. The real meat of this class is the spell list and the opportunities you have to completely ruin your enemy's plans. Then later on, always having counterspell and dispel magic prepared at level 10? Delicious, tasty, great class. Mwah. Divination. If you lean towards gathering information or wanting to influence single intense story moments, this is a good class for you. If your favorite feat is lucky, or if you like to actually people to death, this is a really great class for you. The portent feature is like the crown jewel of the wizard subclasses. You see into the future and as a result make some foretelling rolls. Every long rest you get 2 d20 rolls. Until the next long rest you can replace any roll for yourself, your enemy, or your ally, and switch one of those 2 numbers in as the result. Just to give you an inkling of how crazy powerful this ability can be, you don't get your 3rd portent roll until level 14. This is the perfect feature to me as it checks the Willoware's boxes of it's mechanically cool and flavorful, but it's also so unique.
So he gets a 7.
On his first one or his second one?
This is such a win feature that can really help your party in a tense moment. It's the illusion of choice cow meme, except there's like a lot of sweet treats and money and I don't know, happy stable home life. Combine that with features like your level 10 third eye, which gives you a huge advantage in scouting and information gathering, on top of being able to see invisibility. It just really paints a picture of a character who can truly see beyond. Amazing class, super fun to play and play with, big recommend. Illusionists are obviously great for trickster players, someone who prefers misdirection on the battlefield over pure DPS, for instance, like an Evoker wizard would be. The level 3 feature of this class is much stronger in my opinion than it used to be, basically giving you the mechanic and class fantasy of being able to sprout out illusions like a little illusion factory. Lots of people have starry eyes for the level 14 feature of this class, which allows you to make your illusions actually real, but I'm of the mind that you shouldn't pick a subclass for the final feature unless you know you're gonna get there with your party. So having this level 3 feature feel so much stronger than previous versions is pretty cool to me. If you're a player who likes having a creative shape to your spells, this is a great subclass for you. If you're a player who really doesn't want to describe your attacks all the time or just wants to smack the monster for damage, you might want to skip this class. It's important for an illusionist to kind of think outside the box, but also be aware that the DM has final say over how effective your more wacky illusions could be. But I think it's a really cool one, and like the Transmuter, I wouldn't be surprised if more folks have been dipping into this class versus the previous edition. Evoker. The classic subclass of wizards. This is what people that don't play D&D think all wizards in D&D are, in the best way possible. If you dream of throwing out one last bolt of magic that fells the big bad, this is the class for you. While this class is kind of the poster child for the issue I have with how lots of wizards are played, which we'll talk about after I run through these subclasses, the Evoker is a great pick. Your level 6 features Sculpt Spell, which prevents you and your friends from being nuked by your AoE spells, also often makes you a fan favorite. DPS, DPS, DPS. This is DPS land, you are the damage boy of the party. While other subclasses have flavor baked into their features, these wizards, in my opinion, really get their flavor from the damaging spells on the wizard spell list. And finally, Bladesinger. I don't think I really need to sell anyone on the Bladesinger subclass, it's super fun. And don't be mad at me, but I have an entire video planned out just for Bladesingers, so I'm not going to spend too long on this section. Bladesingers are a wonderful subclass for those that want to do damage, but with style, because you use your melee weapon as your spellcasting focus. This automatically drums up very unique, cool types of characters. What does a Cutlass Bladesinger look like versus a Fencer type Bladesinger, for example? It's free real estate for cool character creation. There's another foreshadowing, but now it's like coming from the top down or something. It's doing something crazy, it's spinning around. Fighters who want to try a caster class might enjoy this because there's some key points in the features that feel like home, for example, the extra attack at level 6. It's one of the most played wizard subclasses for a reason. Excellent subclass, great flavor, not a whole lot of notes on this one. Did I forget your favorite wizard subclass? Let me know in the comments, but I cast Be Nice to Me. It has a range of a bajillion feet, it doesn't use concentration, and it's instantaneous, and only I can dispel it, so sorry, be nice to me. Okay, so I might ruffle a few feathers here, but I'm saying this with all the love in the Forgotten Realms. People really play wizards the same. You're a magic user, and when you cast, this is the spell, there's your damage. Good job. Yep, that's me smacking my hands on my knees like a Midwest dad ready to leave the function. You did it, you you were a wizard. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with being a classic wizard caster. The good old orb has never done anyone wrong. And I get it, you're inundated with spells, it's hard to differentiate what your damage looks like, or maybe taking the time to flavor how you research new magic in a new way. But there's a simple way to outsource this problem, that we've already seen the solution in subclasses like Transmuters and Bladesingers. Their focus is their flavor. But you don't want to play those classes? Don't worry, it's still an easy problem to solve. For example, I want Divination Wizards to have the Alethiometer from the Golden Compass. I want Evokers to have an Arcane Lighter, or the Old Kingdom series, the young adult fantasy by Garth Nix. If you don't like reading, there's an audiobook voiced by Tim Curry, which is absolutely amazing.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
The Drowning Bell from my Bard video is absolutely inspired from this series, but more importantly, this is an example of how you can be a unique caster, just with one simple change. They use bells to cast. Give me some bone-raising bells. I want to call out a specific new show that's recently come out, and I'm gonna completely butcher this title. Okay. Gachiakuta. I won't spoil the show, but I find something really interesting about their magic system is the idea of vital instruments. Objects that the user devotes love and care to that can become a magical focus and weapon. Depending on what the item and the user picks, it shapes what kind of powers they get. And some of the stuff is really wacky. Umbrellas, gloves, scissors, otherwise everyday objects that are switched into something new, flavorful, and memorable. So I've been rolling around under your floorboards for months, thinking about how I can tackle this challenge. What is a spell focus I can give you all that supplies enough story variation, that can give a little bonus that won't break the game? A lot of times homebrewers, including myself, approach subclass stuff from the design perspective of solving a problem. But to me, wizards are in a really strong spot. Orbs and wands and all that are fine and they serve the class. But is there a spellcasting focus that could give interesting flavor and be customized for different subclasses? So let me present my newest invention. The Expanding Codex is a device used by wizards to record and cast spells. It is a highly complex magical apparatus centered around etching spells into metal rings instead of pages. Many wizards spend their hard-earned gold to give different appearances or advantages to these machines, and most importantly, the Codex adds a layer of security. A simple identifier would not allow an enemy caster to be able to read your hard work. Some magic scholars believe that the Expanding Codex was first invented for much more lofty means. These ancient variants have been hinted at in fragmented texts as arcane engines, giant self-adjusting spell rune rings that were capable of storing and performing magic at a scale few wizards could dream of. All that remains of this spellcasting technology are the small portable descendants, the Expanding Codexes. It is the whispers of these engines that push newer wizards to adopt this style of spellcasting, who dream of incredible power, but also those who wish to keep their knowledge and secrets protected. And hey, we did it! As thanks for watching this video, I have the Expanding Codex all prepped and ready for you. Unfortunately, at the very, very high ceiling price of completely free. Yes! Take out your mortgages now. And for my patrons, a super special Willoware's Arcane Ring for the higher level wizard of discerning taste, lovingly rendered and crafted. Will I make a wizard subclass in the future? Absolutely. But I want to do our wizards justice, and that means probably making an entire spell list to fill out an entire school. Maybe I'll flesh out the School of Enosculation, which I talked about in my last video. Am I terrified to do that? Yes. Does speaking this into existence also mean I'm making a promise I'll regret keeping? You bet your bottom dollar. Alright, goodbye everybody! Goodbye! Bye! Goodbye Leonardo DiCaprio! Goodbye! A little known tip about playing the wizard class as a whole is that looking at your player's handbook is surprisingly free, so anytime you need to check on what a spell does. Oh my god! Oh, this is a holdover from me being a salty DM. Take that out. That's so mean. Oh, a little known tip about playing the wizard subclass as a whole, or wizard class as a whole, is that looking at your player's handbook is surprisingly free, so anytime you need to check on what a spell does, it stays in the physical book for you to look at any time. What the